So recently I got a phoenix tattoo after diving deep into my natal chart with my mom.
Shout out to my girl Natalie for the sick tattoo. It was quite elegant, quite nice, if I do say so myself. Linked her Instagram down below.
She broke it all down for me. The challenges, the transformations, the trials that are supposed to refine me instead of ruin me. After a while, I just blurted out, so basically I'm a phoenix. And if you know my mom, you knew her instant reaction. She rolled her eyes and was like, all right, girl. But that was my light bulb moment. I claimed that mythical bird on the spot, not just as a symbol, but as a spirit guide. Because honestly, life does feel like being set on flame, scraped down to the bone, and hopefully you come back shinier and even sassier. This story is more than just a Harry Potter lore or guru fluff. The Phoenix might actually be a metaphorical blueprint for what we all go through. Mentally, emotionally, even physically. A bird of flame, yes, but also the story of how a lump of coal becomes a diamond. So whether you're mid-burnout or mid-glow-up, welcome to Convos and Chaos.
So, to make a long story short, the phoenix lives a cyclical life. It burns, turns into ash, and rises again. The end. That's it. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. It was quite fascinating having you here.
But for real, the phoenix is everywhere, and it's way deeper than folklore from your favorite fantasy series. Let's start in ancient Egypt, where this fiery creature was known as the Binu bird. I love that name. Only one existed at a time, and it often depicted a giant hawk with a melodic cry, not your average crow. The Binu bird lived at least 500 years, and when its time came, it would build a fragrant nest of incense, a little DIY funeral pyre, if you will. From there, depending on the version, it either burst into flames and was reborn right there on the spot, or gathered its own ashes, packed them up like a carry-on bag on a flight, and flew them to Heliopolis, the city of the sun god Ra. And if you want an episode about that, let me know. Sometimes it would fly to Heliopolis first, build the nest there, and voluntarily burst into flames. Like, all right, let's do this again. No matter the version, though, it always ends with a rebirth and another 500 years countdown to the next transformation. Now, if we fly east to China, we meet the phoenix's elegant cousin, the fanghua. This bird wasn't about fire so much as balance. It symbolized peace, virtue, and the harmony between yin and yang. Basically, the ultimate relationship goal. The fanghua would often appear on imperial thrones, robes, and wedding decorations. And get this, the fanghua had an affinity for music. Like, this bird was chill. It had the chest of a goose, the rear of a stag, and a snake-like neck, tail of a fish, markings of a dragon, sometimes a turtle shell, the face of a swan. Okay, so basically a mystical Build-A-Bird. Okay, that's what it's giving. It was seen as the female counterpart to the dragon, the divine yin to the dragon's fiery yang. And its appearance was said to mark the time of peace or new golden era. Honestly, we could use a few fanghuas flying over Earth right now, and if you're in America, you know what I'm talking about. Now, over in Persia, they had the simage. I think I'm saying that right, which I think is the phoenix's more mystical Middle Eastern cousin. Scholars debate whether it's the same bird, though, the same bird as the Greek phoenix, or just a spiritual sibling. Either way, this bird goes deep in Persian mythology. The simage was believed to live for thousands of years, and some stories say it witnessed the world end 3 times, like 3 whole apocalypses, and then maybe a rebirth, maybe it didn't. Honestly, if I'd been alive that long, I would literally tell you to nail my coffin shut. I've seen enough of this hellscape. It's a hard pass. I'm not coming back. But when it did show up, it was seen as a symbol of purity, divine healing, and even fertility. Whenever it flew, land and water would be blessed. It shows up constantly in Persian art and literature, often as a divine helper or sacred force. And of course, we can't leave out the Greeks and Romans. Literally, they're everywhere. Who gave us the name we know today, Phoenix, from the Greek word phoenix, I think I'm saying that right, meaning either crimson or Phoenician, depending on the scholar you ask. Honestly, both works. It's a bird that burns and shines. To them, the phoenix was a glorious golden red bird that lived anywhere from 500 to 1400 years. When its time was up, it didn't go quietly. It sang a hauntingly beautiful song, built a funeral pyre again out of aromatic woods and spices, and burst into flames. The Roman poet Ovid said it came from Arabia, while others said Ethiopia. Basically, no one had the receipts, but everybody wanted the credit. After the flames died down, the new phoenix would rise from the ashes, fully grown, and it would fly its predecessors' remains to Heliopolis in Egypt as a tribute to the sun god, Ra. So even they connected the legend back to Egypt.
It's giving shared myth multiverse. Sorry.
To the Romans, the phoenix wasn't just a cool bedtime story. It became a symbol of the eternal city, Rome itself. And later, early Christians adopted the phoenix as a symbol of resurrection and everlasting life, tying it to Christ rising after death. So, yeah, this bird has a resume longer than your favorite influencer's bio. The story of the phoenix isn't just an ancient myth. It's basically everyone's story. Whether you lived in ancient Egypt or you're just trying to survive your 20s, 'cause same. I mean, think about it. How many times have you felt like everything around you was burning? Down, down, down to the ground. Your plans, your peace, your GPA, bills. And yet somehow you made it through. You didn't just survive, you came out different, stronger, shinier, and a little more seasoned. Hard times almost always require transformation. That's just a requirement. They don't make diamonds out of marshmallows. Diamonds are made through pressure, heat, and time. And maybe, just maybe, so are we. For me, college was just that, a pressure cooker. It tested me in ways I didn't expect. There were so many moments I felt like I was fighting a fight that I couldn't win. But when I look back, those years refined me. I leaned on my friendships, on my own curiosity, and a little flicker inside that said, there's more to you than this moment. And just like that, something inside of me shifted. I found my footing. That was my phoenix moment. Even the phoenix's lifespan speaks to it. 500, 1,000 years says something. Maybe it's telling us that real transformation doesn't happen overnight. That it takes practice, time, and repetition of the burn and rise cycle again and again. And here's a fun fact for the nerds out there for a second. Your brain literally rewires itself under pressure. It's called neuroplasticity, the brain's way of forming new pathways. When the old ones get fried by stress, trauma, or change, neuroplasticity fixes it. So the next time you're going through it, your brain's not just suffering, it's evolving like a mini phoenix moment in your noggin. And if that's too sciencey for you, here's a pop culture version. Think about your favorite anime character. If you don't have one, please go find an anime. I can give you a list right now. Trust me, it's the journey you need to be on. They always hit rock bottom before their power up. They cry, they train, they go full emotional montage, and then they rise with new abilities and even a cool hairstyle. And baby, that's the Phoenix moment right there for you. So we've talked about the Phoenix as a mental glow up, but what about the body itself? Can the Phoenix metaphor live in our physical reality too? Short answer, absolutely. So I know we've talked about the Phoenix as a mental glow up, but what about the body? Can the Phoenix metaphor live in our physical reality too? Short answer, absolutely. Our bodies are in a constant state of rebirth. Even when we don't notice, you shed and replace your skin every 27 days. Your gut lining renews every 4 to 5 days, and your red blood cells, they've got a whole new crew every few months. You're basically a walking campfire of cell regeneration. Even when you're sore from a workout, guess what? Guess what's happening? You're literally tearing your muscles down so they can rebuild stronger. That pain is the burn. That growth is the rise. The protein shake, it's your Phoenix fuel. Or take recovery from injury or illness. Think about the comeback stories we all know. People relearn to walk, rebuild strength, or come back from surgeries or setbacks. The body goes through what I like to call forced reinvention. It breaks down, adapts, and rebuilds in a new way. Even on a cellular level, we have what's called hormesis. I think I'm saying that right. It's the process where small doses of stress like heat, cold, fasting, or exercise actually strengthens us over time. The Phoenix is literally coded into our biology. And then there's aging. That's a whole different fire, and it's a very large nutshell. There's no actual way of, but take for instance, everyone has seen people hit their 40s, 50s, and 60s, and suddenly they're in the best shape of their lives. Not because the clock reversed, but because they decide to evolve. They hit the flame, and instead of crumbling, they rose up. Honestly, our physical selves are built for rebirth. That's the wild part. You don't need wings or flames, just time, intention, and a little resilience. So now that we've flown through mythology, the brain, the science, and biology, let's land. Let's land right here. Because the Phoenix, she's not done. She's living rent-free in our modern culture. Just look around, okay? Every time someone goes through breakdown to breakthrough, we call it a comeback, a rebrand, a glow up. It's all Phoenix energy. Celebs, they do it all the time for us to see. Robert Downey Jr. went from public downfall to global superhero. Amazing. Keke Palmer turned childhood stardom, doubts from the industry, and anxiety into a reintroduction. Now she's a mom, a mogul, and the queen of all. Tyler, the Creator, evolved from controversial chaos into a Grammy-winning creative icon. I love him. Peace be upon him. Even our language reflects it. Rise from the ashes, burn it all down, start fresh. New era who dis, okay? We love a rebirth arc. Why? Because we've all been there. Maybe not on a stage, but in a bedroom, crying into a pint of ice cream, thinking, I cannot do this again. And then you do, and you're different, and you're thankful that you went through it. You've probably had a phoenix moment and didn't even realize it. Let's name a few. For instance, leaving a toxic relationship, starting therapy, changing careers, healing from burnout, going back to college, cutting your bangs. Yes, that counts. Sometimes chaos is a cocoon. It's not just personal either. Think of entire cultures, having their phoenix season. Think of moments rising from oppression, artists redefining genres.
Kendrick Lamar.
Even trends making a comeback. Y2K fashion, phoenix moment, okay? Rhinestones, the butterfly clips, you name it. And your girl loves a good transformation. I mean, I cut my hair all the time. I re-dye it. I do this, that, and the third, baby. I do it all, okay? But thanks for sticking with me till the very end. Ashes, ember, and glow. All of it. Remember, the chaos, that's not the problem. The chaos is the conversation that changes everything. So don't be afraid to burn a little. Just make sure you rise hotter than ever, okay? Until we meet again.
Thanks. Bye.